What up, Sharp Alex? Thanks, man, for first.
Hi, everyone.
Although I don't know if you were first. Down with weevils. Vowels. Down with vowels. That's a funny name. That's a funny name. I like that. Had a slight dyslexia moment where I was like weevils, WVLS, but it's VW.
Are certainly villainous from time to time.
Yeah, down with vowels. Third, Pratt Penguino. Third sounds right. All right. So today we're doing something really simple. I actually have a couple customer boards that I never set like an official when I'm going to do it thing, and I had like a bunch of stuff to do today, including this morning, so I didn't have time to like lube and film switches and stuff. So we're doing something pretty straightforward, pretty simple, pretty fun. I think we're gonna like it.
We're not having a monster leg.
Yeah, this isn't gonna be one of Monster Legs boards.
I mean,
This is gonna be something for me.
I'd also like to point out that we did a macro pad and it took us 3.5 hours. So.
Oh, I'm not saying it won't take a little while. I'm saying it will be simple.
Oh, okay.
I hope.
Simple does not necessarily mean
Fingers crossed, knock on wood, whatever. Yeah, so we're gonna build the little like Navi10, which is like a little tiny nav cluster only keyboard. I think it's gonna be cool. Oh, that's me. Boom. Crap Penguino, thank you. Fixed. TSC should be normal volume now. TSC,
Yay.
you're full volume.
I'm speaking. I'm full volume. I'm a real voice.
It was actually on my end. I have the voice chat slider. So by default, for whatever reason, my Go XLR, it starts with the voice chat slider down just a little bit. And I'm like, I always keep setting it up. What's going on? What's going on here? I'm sure there's a way for me to change that. I just don't know.
Also, good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well.
All right. I have all of my beverages. I have hydration, just plain hydration. I have fizzy hydration.
Ooh, fizzy hydration.
Cherry flavor.
Hydration.
And I have coffee, which is currently steaming off a little bit because it's a little too piping hot. Also,
why isn't it cold brew?
Ready for 2021. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it's almost good night time for you. So no coffee time is what I'm hearing. Let me make sure that's muted.
I mean, decaffeinated something. That's fine.
Decaf still has just a little bit of caffeine in it. Not a lot, but a little bit.
So I have actually found a wonderful tea that's like a vanilla tea that is decaf. I love it.
Oh, teas. Yeah, there's totally teas that don't have caffeine, but like decaffeinated coffee definitely still has at least a little bit.
That's one of my favorites for, well, and there's herbal teas too that can actually make you go sleepy, but.
I was going to say there's teas that like kind of make you, maybe not sleepy. It's not like they're making you drowsy. Drug-like, you know what I mean, effects. Although those exist too.
I mean.
But like, they definitely make you like.
Mellow.
Yeah, want to
like
relax.
Chamomile and lavender, that'll relax you.
Exactly, but neither one of those
Valerian
things
will too. It's disgusting smelling though. It smells like cat.
Yeah, but back to chamomile and lavender. Neither one of those tastes like trash. And yeah. Or they don't taste like trash. Also, they don't make you like inherently sleepy. They're kind of relaxing.
Yeah.
That's my take on them, at least.
They're not trash.
Trash. Anyway. So we're gonna do this Navi10. We're gonna do this Navi10, right? It's kind of cute.
Navi10.
It's kind of cute. I gotta admit.
Oh, that's adorable.
It's so cute.
Look at that.
It's so cute. So cute. So I mean, it's gonna be kind of cool because you'll see the little like V pattern with the diodes. I think it's gonna be pretty nice. Pretty nice. I guess it would be like upside down V, but yeah. It comes with like, so the bottom pleat or whatever comes with this like full up instruction set and a little bending jig for the diodes, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, we kind of have a bending jig for our diodes, but we'll use theirs.
Sure, but I mean, for people who don't.
Because that seems pretty cool. Well, and theirs are probably exactly properly spaced, if I had to guess. So obviously they ship you those, they ship you that. They give you a fancy sticker from Keyhive.
Ooh.
There's no reset switch in there, which is weird to me. But there's an LED and a dot and a resistor. And then I have an Elite C we're gonna use. But yeah, I don't know what the deal is with those. It's kind of weird. So if you look real careful, you'll notice though that it supports Alps or it supports Cherry MX. And Alps will obviously require hand alignment. But I haven't decided what switches we're gonna use. And I want your guys' input. I'm gonna break these little tabs off. So clearly it originally was supposed to ship like this. There's some perforations. Here, I'll go to the overhead view. I'll go to the overhead view.
Don't you have some white Alps hanging out somewhere?
Oh, I have a bunch of Alps. Yeah, so it's got these little tabs. So clearly it originally was like this. Well, it's probably like this. Yeah, so it was originally like that and it got snapped. I don't know. It didn't come to me like that. Kiwis. We're not going to use kiwis. I like kiwis, but I'm saving my kiwis for board. And I have a limited supply, but I really like them. They're hanging out. They're hanging out.
I'm leaning towards something else. Don't know what, but we don't do a lot of
Kiwis
Alps
are pretty
builds.
good. Well, there's that, right? But then that limits us to what keycaps we can use. But that might be okay. That might be okay because I have a bunch of like trash. They're not trash, but spare. We could do Alps.
What
We
is
could do
the
Alps.
case color for this thing?
I mean, this is it. It's just one of those.
That's it.
It's
It's
just one
that.
of. Yeah, it has like standoffs that hold the two pieces together,
Okay.
and then that's all you get. So it'll
what's
be
the,
very wireframey kind of. Wireframe's not the right way, but you know.
Doesn't that Tron set fit Alps?
It does, but I don't really want to use like a really high-end Alps key set because we're gonna eventually use that key set for something.
Sure, I was thinking you would, but for the interim, for just putting it on today, it doesn't have to stay there.
We could do that, or I could put a skeleton case. Thanks you, Adrentus. Yeah, so we could do that, but also we have some other things. I'll show you what I pulled out.
Okay.
Okay. So here's what I busted out as options for things. So let's just go with switch options that I pulled out, right? So I pulled out some post vent but pre-retooled, so like the worst Cherry MX blacks. Usually when I do little macro pads and stuff like that, I don't put the best switches in it, and I do that because they don't get a lot of use, and it's not like I feel them a lot, right? It's very kind of just, well, this thing is here and I can use it every now and then because it looks cool. So I pulled out some damped cream Alps, some Otomu Skies, some post vent pre-retooled Cherry MX blacks, and I have some salmon. I have some NOS whites we could put in there, which are kind of nice switches, and I also have some salmon Alps, but I was mostly gonna stay away from the salmon Alps in favor of these damped creams, but I'll kind of let you guys choose if you want. You think?
I'm thinking creams because we do so many of the cherry. Yeah, let's do some Alps switches today.
Okay, so if we do the Alps switches, right? If we do the Alps switches, we're gonna definitely lock ourselves into what keycaps I'm willing to use for it. So we could we could put all sorts of caps on it. We could put DCS. We could put on like DCS Yuri. We could put on DCS Alps Throwback, which is a really cool looking set. We could put the Alps, the DSA Light Cycle Alps set on there to show off. I'm kind of reluctant to do that because the stems need to be trimmed on those so that they don't like snap. Like I really need to do some work to those before I start mounting them on something. But what's going to end up residing on it is I have some old K104 keycaps, and that's what'll eventually be on there. Okay, so we're going to do cream Alps, right? So I guess it's up to you guys to decide what should we put on there eventually. This is what we'll rest on there. So we could put these on today, or we could show it off with something else. So, you know, fuel for thought. Just think about that as we go forward. So I got a super early today, like stupidly
Why?
early. Well, I needed to be up before the sun started hitting my solar panels.
Oh, did you go wash your solar panels?
I did. I did.
Give it the old scrubby.
I nerded the fuck out. Okay, so that's the arrows. That's the
scrubby with the splashy.
Yep, the scrubby with the splashy. So I got up on my roof this morning before the sun was like really up, and I washed my solar panels. So
that sounds like an excuse. Oh, sorry, I can't go to your thing. I've got to go wash my solar panels.
Right though, like no, I gotta wash my hair. Like what?
No, what? Wait, you gotta wash your
Yeah.
Just say you don't want to come to the graduation party, man. Just say it.
Just say it, you know? Just own that shit.
Just own it.
Own that shit. So Dodo, right? You said you need to try some Alp switches yourself. What kind of switches do you really like? Got our giant needle nose here to do this little job of ripping this one little tab off, and then the one next to it. Like, are you a linears man or a tactile man?
Overkill.
Yeah, in my opinion, Alps really shine if you're into tactiles. There are linear Alps that are good. Just there are really good tactile Alps. Okay, so it has Pro Micro headers, solder the switches, solder the Pro Micro. Piezo buzzer to the buzzer pads. Wait, there was an optional buzzer for this?
Wait, what?
I fail. I didn't know there was a buzzer that you could get. I totally want there to be a buzzer. Damn.
Can you order an addition? Hey, can you order it separately?
I could just solder it on later.
Sure, that's what I'm saying. Like,
so I want you guys to be able
rebuild later.
Yeah, well, not rebuild, just take it apart and put that one little thing on. So I want you guys to be able to read these instructions. So why don't I
Microvision.
Why don't I microvision? Okay. So Pro Micro. So we're not using a Pro Micro. We're using an Elite C.
Hi, Snore Stews. Store Snooze. Sorry.
Switch diodes. We got the switch diodes. Do we have 9? Hopefully we do. Or 10.
I love it that they've given you a bomb. That's so cute.
10. Okay, good. D10. We've got the 3mm LED. Boop boop. Great. And then we've got this 1 kilo ohm, I presume. I did not read its values. Resistor. And then, yeah, we got stuff. We got other stuff. Microscope. Oh, this microscope is,
I put up the command for it.
yeah, I was like, it's an ADSM 30. I don't know if I have the 302 or, yeah, I think it's the 302.
Endostar. ADSM 302.
Endostar. Yeah, so basically, while it's got HDMI plugged in, its screen doesn't do the things you would want it to. But if I unplug the HDMI input, we've got this fanciness.
Hey, Bouncy.
Ugh, okay. So now, once we plug the HDMI back in, we obviously get that. Okay, cool. So I
remembered. We have commands.
We do have commands for that. What up, Bouncy? How you doing, man? How you doing? It's nice to see you, buddy. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Sunday. Welcome to the dumpster fire that is 2020.
Mm-hmm. Bouncy. I hate this hobby.
this hobby.
Oh no.
Oh no, what happened, man? Why do you hate it? Don't hate. Womp womp womp. Do you need the needle nose of doom? Would that help? Would that help fix whatever hatred you have?
Oh dear. Oh dear.
You were so dumb.
What did you do, Bouncy? You ordered Olivia Dark during the GB. Okay.
I'm aware. Yeah. I'm sorry, man.
Because I'm not a flipper sold at cost. Oof.
I mean, thank you for not being a flipper.
Right.
They call him Flipper. I'm joking.
Flipper. He said, and I want Olivia Light and extra sold out yesterday on Z Frontier in 40 seconds.
Ouch.
Fuck this, I just want Olivia. Aww.
Bro, you will eventually get it. You'll have to buy it on the aftermarket, and you'll probably have to pay at least a little bit of a premium. But I mean, so when you resell something, even if you sell it at cost, like it's going to be more expensive for the buyer, right? Because they're going to have to pay for that initial shipping and then the reshipping to them baked into that price probably. So it's always going to be at least a little bit more expensive. Bro, you're going to get it. You're going to get it eventually. I know you will. I know you will. All right. Today is not the day to tease Olivia's. Got it. Don't do it.
No Olivia teasing today.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we've decided cream damped Alps, and we're gonna use something schmancy-ish. Yay! Damped cream Alps. We hate Olivia now. I mean, I'm not gonna go that far, but yeah, I understand. All right, so I'm gonna do this one thing that's kind of nice when you have desoldered Alp switches. Frequently, especially from an Apple, and these were from an AEK2, frequently the little pins are bent. Let me find one that's pretty bad, if any. These look good. Good. Oh yeah, there's one that's terrible. Good. Good. Not as good. Good. I'll show you. I'll show you under
plus.
Yeah, plus. Okay, wait. I'll bend that one up a little bit. Okay, so if I do this, you'll see that there's kind of problems with Alps sometimes once they're desoldered, right? So that bottom pin is bent crazy, and the other side pin is shortened because it went to get bent back so that you could desolder it, and it snapped. Now that doesn't matter. It'll just come flush with the bottom of the PCB, which is fine. The other one though needs to be straightened. So the way I'm going to straighten it, maybe I can get this under microvision. Is I'm going to stick my needle nose there, and I'm literally just going to tighten the needle nose. Kind of straighten the pin out a little bit. Close enough. It's good enough. All right. So we've got all of our damped Alps. We'll set those aside. I have a feeling we're going to do a bit of work under microvision today. I have a feeling.
Do you think we could make the window a little bit bigger then?
We can, but
just a little bit. Maybe not
we're not
full
gonna
screen,
yet.
but like.
Okay, so it says solder the diodes and resistors. Use the lead bending tool above to bend the leads. Solder the diodes with the marked side of the diode oriented with the markings on the silk screen. Cool. So the silk screen you can see has the diode marking faced down. Hey, thank you so much for the sub, Hanatori.
Hanatori, thank you so much for the sub.
Hanatori 1. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And hello there. Hopefully you're having a great day. Hopefully you're having a wonderful Sunday. Okay, so you can see that the diode marking is on the bottom. So facing down. So when we do solder these in, we'll take the little black stripe. We'll go like that. Or like that. So they give us a jig on this one right up here. So I'm hoping that does actually bend exactly correct. Right? Let me pop one of these diodes off and we'll do it. Olivia plus plus plus. I don't know if they'll do another Olivia or not, but it was an amazing key set, and honestly, so many were sold. They will. I'm
sure they will. I'm sure at some point that'll become like a permanent carry for somebody.
Well,
I can't imagine that it won't.
I mean, GMK is not gonna just continuously make it. Okay, so we're gonna line that up like that, and we're gonna bend these around the edge, right? I can't do this part under a microscope because it's because I'll get it wrong. That's not acceptable. Okay. I'm gonna clip the little legs. All right, I'm gonna bust out the solder mat because we pretty much already need it. Yeah, that is pretty useful, Hanatori. So I gotta say, I'm pretty happy that they included that. I have a little jig that Shock's 3D printed for me, which is pretty awesome for bending a lot of diodes all at once. But not everybody has that, and honestly, if this thing fits exactly the correct dimension, then that's clearly the best move, right? Use the tool that was included if that's the case. So put our bent ones there. I'm gonna cut all these free. I'm actually gonna do it like we were. I know it takes a little bit more time, but I want it to look good. I don't really have good mail call this time. I didn't get anything new since the last time we talked. I mean, I guess we talked on Tuesday, so it's not like it was a long time ago, but man, I'm still waiting on a bunch of stuff though, so that's cool. See, if I were a smart man, I probably would have taken this day that I'm going to build my own board and built something like Chimera. But again, I didn't really have the time to lube and film a bunch of switches, so that's why we're doing this.
I think that it's okay.
Hey man, I had solar panels to clean this morning, okay?
Yeah. I mean, we get it.
It was important.
We get that you were avoiding somebody's graduation party. I get it.
Oof. Yeah. Sorry, I'm busy. I have to wash my solar panels this weekend.
Also, if you think about it, I have to go lube my keyboard switches. Also sounds kind of like a bullshit excuse to people who aren't in this hobby.
That's true. That's true. Legitimate excuses for not going to someone's party.
Right. I mean, I have to lube my keyboard switches.
I mean, also bullshit. The Rona, but
right, that too.
But that's a real one.
Right.
I have to lube my blacks.
Ooh, bouncy.
Womp womp. Yeah, people are not gonna get that. Pretty sure they won't get that.
It does sound super weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely never gonna say that. People will be like, excuse me, what? Oh boy. Second one sounds weirder, for sure. I have to film my alpacas. Yeah. Or I have to lube my alpacas. This is pretty funny. They'll be like, what? Or I have to, sorry, I have to go, test my kiwis.
Right. I have to go lube my tangerines. Wait, what?
What? Oh boy. Lube what? Doesn't sound right. Yep. It sounds like you're giving him a line of bullshit. Like, I have to go lube my muffler bearing.
I have to lube my Oreos.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got to go lube and film my blueberries. I have to lube my alpacas. What are you gonna do to them?
Look, guys, I have to go play with my blueberries. I'll be like, what? Never invite that man to the party again.
Right? No, don't do that. Keep that man away from the fruit salad.
He is not welcome at this party. He's got all sorts of weird shit going on with tangerines and blueberries and kiwis.
Don't even get me started on banana splits.
No. The fuck are you gonna do to them?
I don't know, but I'm scared.
No one trusts this man around their produce. Just some weird shit. Shenanigans. Some shenanigans.
Some produce shenanigans.
Oh man.
Oh.
Wowzer. Okay, well, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh man, it's been a morning. All right, coffee has cooled sufficiently. So you may think I'm a heathen, but I don't like the coffee to burn my mouth. And this, like, yeah, it's Starbucks, whatever. This, like, coffee mug is crazy insulative. Like, this thing will keep stuff piping hot most of the day. Like, too hot to drink if you pour it in hot.
Oh dear.
Ooh, it's still warm. It's good though. It's not hot. It's just pretty warm. Why does this man have alpacas in the first place?
That's bad.
I mean, what are they,
blend
goats?
of coffee? Asks Rathy.
Ooh, Raffy. I actually don't know which coffee I'm drinking today. I could go get the bag.
How do you not know?
So I
Isn't
have
that like a coffee snob, like sin?
Well, it is. So I think this is a new one that I haven't really paid attention to too much.
Oh.
So basically, like, I have a delivery subscription for Trade Coffee. So I get like new stuff every couple weeks. And I mean, I buy a bunch of extra coffee too, so.
How much coffee do you drink?
A lot. So I could tell you, I just have to go look at the bag. Bueno Builds, man, how you doing? How you doing this morning? It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. So I didn't really know who Bueno was until
That's true. There's no such thing as too much coffee.
So there's actually two things that clued me into Bueno. The first was I went on to oh my gosh. Man, I'm totally spacing on the site name now. Oh no. And I don't have it still up. Somebody had on one of the sites, somebody had posted hey, taking commissions. I bet Bueno knows what site I'm talking about. It's Davis's site. 3D Cubes? Is it 3D Cubes?
Yeah,
I think it's 3D Cubes.
That's our site.
Yeah, okay, cool. So on 3D Cubes, right, I was checking out their thing and it said Bueno Builds commissions, and I like clicked on it and looked. So that's where I like saw the thing in the first place. And then I met Bueno at the KeyCon thing, and Man, Buenos is a nice dude. Also, he's probably the only guy out there where I'm like, man, I'm kind of jelly of your camera setup for your streams. not jelly, like, but your stuff is set up and it looks really nice. And I like it. I like that you bring in quality imagery. Get ready for mode 8 build tonight. Mode 80. Dude, I'm down. I'm down. What time do you go live? What time are you going live, my man? Let the peoples, at least whatever peoples are in here right now, know. Sunday is usually the stream where like we end up with a lot of viewers at some point. This build will be pretty short, so I don't think it'll be huge viewership numbers for us. Thinking 6 p.m. Eastern. Man, I'm gonna have to drop in for at least a little bit. I actually have a friend who's over right now. He's crashed out my guest room because he woke up early with me and helped me set all the stuff up on the for the solar panel cleaning project I had.
Solar panels.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I'm gonna stream or whatever, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to sleep. Like, cool, man, cool, thanks.
That's fair.
What a friend. Seriously. All right, so we're gonna set this thing aside. I mean, basically it says solder the diodes and resistors. Great. Solder the LED. When we get to the LED, we'll worry about that. So we will put all these diodes in. I bet these fit like perfect. Oh, they don't fit perfect. But oh, they fit pretty good. They fit pretty well, actually. Not gonna lie. Pretty well. So we'll place all these in with the stripe facing down, like the silk screen has on it. I'm happy that we used the jig and that it fits really well because I gotta admit, it's gonna make this thing look pretty nice. 6 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so it'll be shortly after we usually end my stream, I think. That's actually kind of perfect for any time where I'm on Sunday and I go long, because it means I got somebody I can instantly just be like, boom, here them folks is. It's a good time to take a raid. Today we're probably going to be pretty short, so I'm guessing that I'll just be showing up as a viewer, but it's kind of cool. I didn't even say hi to Bitter Seeds when he waved. Hi, man.
No, hi, Bitter Seeds.
I feel bad.
Bitter Seeds. Apparently, I can't say words today.
Yeah, it's okay. Wording is hard sometimes.
It's true. Wording is quite hard sometimes.
All right, so I am not a fan of soldering. I'm not a fan of bending leads to keep them in, right? So we're dropping all these components in like this. And how do we flip it, right? Well, we're actually gonna hold off on flipping it for a second anyway. Crap. We're gonna set it right there for a second. Will that hold it up? Oh my gosh, it does. Okay.
Woohoo!
So I forgot to bend this guy. It looks like it's the same dimensions. I'm guessing it is. All right. Okay. Should Really get this right in. Resistors like this are not polarized at all, so it just goes like that. All right, so how do we flip this thing over? It'd be pretty easy to just do it with your hand on this one, but we're just gonna flip this over on a flat surface, right? Well, we'll heat up our iron. We'll just tack those on one side. Morven Mad, how you doing, man?
Hello, Morven Mad.
All right. Man, it's exciting. Got that new roll of Kester.
Woohoo.
Whole new roll. It's nice to look over there and be like, man, there's so much solder on that. Good, just ate a breakfast burrito. Ooh.
That
What
sounds
kind?
exciting.
What kind, my man? What kind? Turn that on. Taking notes for whatever I start building a Decipad. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that flipping thing is pretty cool. I mean, in general, these kinds of builds aren't that tough. Like, it's not going to be crazy, right? So we're going to attack one side of all these down first. And the reason we're only going to attack one side is because you want this thing to look really nice from the top. So we need to make sure that they're aligned properly. Sorry, go ahead.
So for those interested, the breakfast burrito was eggs, cheddar, onion, tomatoes, sprouts, avocado, mayo, and sriracha.
Bro, that sounds so
healthy
good.
And delicious.
I love sprouts. Sprouts, super underrated. Not even joking.
Depends
Eggs,
on the kind
cheddar,
of sprout, because some of them can get really bitter.
They're not that bitter to me though. It's like some people think that
Cilantro is the devil.
Cilantro tastes like soap. Some people think that Brussels sprouts taste bitter. None of those things are true for me. I know that Brussels sprouts, at least, there's a gene that if you think that Brussels sprouts are super bitter, there's actually a gene that defines that, and people who don't have that, they don't think it's bitter. So I don't know if the same is true with cilantro tasting like soap, or sprouts tasting bitter, but sprouts do not taste bitter to me at all.
Sprouts taste bitter to me. I do not like Brussels sprouts, and cilantro tastes like soap to me.
Whoa. Okay. So for me, like what he just described, the eggs, cheddar, onion, tomato, sprouts, avocado, mayo, and sriracha, probably cilantro would go really well with that, or I would remove the onions. So I would turn that onion and tomato and some cilantro into some pico de gallo to put on there, or I would just probably remove for me at least, the tomato altogether. But that sounds like a delicious breakfast burrito, my man. Like truly, truly delish. Kind of jelly. I have not eaten yet. It's been a busy morning for me, and I have not had time to stop and make food. But like I said, this is going to be a relatively simple build, and it may end up being pretty short. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to get food in not too long. But I also have company, right? Like I said, I have my buddy is here, and we'll go grab some grub to eat here after a message from these sponsors. Okay, so I just did the thing that that everyone will criticize if you do, which is touching the top of these components while I'm touching an iron to the metal lead.
Bueno Builds, thank you so much for the sub.
Thanks for the sub, man. I really appreciate that, dude. So if you're gonna do what I just did, you have to be careful not to have your finger on the metallic side that you're gonna be touching the iron to, because it will transfer that heat and burn your finger. So I was really careful because we were tacking down the bottom, or this side right here. I was really careful to have my finger on this top side. Now, that doesn't mean heat can't transfer through. It can. So be careful and be prepared to pull your hand back pretty quick. Okay, you have been warned. You have been warned. Do what I say, not what I do. Right? There is another way to handle this thing. And that is to use like a pair of needle nose, clamp this down or put it in helping hands and pull up with a pair of needle nose. That is doable. We also have some helping hands that probably could make this thing a lot easier or better. We're not using them because we like playing it in hard mode here, apparently.
All hard mode, all the time.
We're stubborn. Nah, it's not that. It's just this is so simple and so few parts that it's not that scary to do it this way. For me. Your mileage may vary. Okay, so now we've got that kind of aligned. Okay, so I'll show it to you under microscope now so you can kind of see. Just get one of those fake fingies. Oh yeah, that totally exists too. It's so silly though, Morbid Mad. They're so ridiculous. Onions are disgusting, says Bouncy Chillups. Onions are kind of rough on the stomach if they're uncooked for me. So I tend to like them caramelized pretty heavily, like burned almost a little bit. For me.
I do not like them raw, but cooked for sure. They're okay.
Okay, they look fairly well lined up. One of them is a little off, but we're gonna leave it because it doesn't look too off from above. From above, it looks fine. You hate onions in every form, bro. That's intense. I feel like hate is a really strong emotion to have for a vegetable. For produce. But I feel that way about beets, so I understand.
Fair. That's a fair sense. Yeah.
I don't know why anyone would want to eat a vegetable that tastes like dirt. But you know.
Apparently Bouncy hates them a lot and cannot eat onions.
But you know, preference. Yeah, man, I'm sorry. I really am. Onions can be awesome. What about like onion powder as a seasoning in things? Or like where onion is added even though it's not like there's no obvious onions.
That sounds like an emo band.
No obvious onions? Oh, I was thinking no obvious onions. But I'm bad at coming up with names, so you know, that's a thing.
Niv says, I can only tolerate onions when included in a sauce. Also, hello, everyone. Hi, Niv.
What up, Niv?
Bouncy says onion powder is fine when seasoning for meat, for example.
That's fair. That's fair. That makes sense. I was trying to understand if it's just like a general disdain for all onion flavoring, or if it's like onions.
So it's not the taste, it's the texture. Yeah, my brother's like that. He does not like onions at all.
Oh, I know quite a few people who don't.
We have a Keeb related and non-produce related question.
Oh, well,
For factory
we specialize
lube switches,
in non-produce related things here.
We do. For factory lube switches, do you de-lube them?
No, not really. So the term factory lubed is almost a farce. Like, you almost can't use that term. They can, because there is lubrication applied, but it's so minuscule an amount that it's almost not worth saying that it's done. Like, so no, I don't. And usually a very lightweight oil is used, and since I primarily lube things with grease, not always, I have used oils, it's irrelevant that there's some tiny amount of lightweight oil on there. You could delube them if you wanted to, and if somebody was insistent that I do that, I would. But generally speaking, lubing is an art, like I've said before. Yeah. Andy Newen, yeah, factory lube, shiny from leftover oil. Yeah, dude, it's just shiny, junky remnants of like mold release or something, so that it comes out of the machine easier. It's not lube. It's not really lubed. Building something simple today, man. I love it. Yeah, I would never worry about the factory lube. It's
You're welcome,
insignificant.
Marvis.
All right, so the next instructions, what do they say? They say,
best viewed
solder
under microscope.
LED.
Down with valves. Hey.
Hey, man. Hey. Also, yes, valves are assholes. Anode, positive lead, is usually longer than the negative lead. Sure, that's true.
What's up with
Positive
that
side.
sometimes why bullshit?
Right. Jeez. Wow. It's marked with a plus on the bottom of the PCB. Okay, so it has a plus, not a... That's weird.
Oh, Down with Val says, I sent you a message on Reddit about my Austin R2, by the way.
Did you really? Ooh. Down with Vals. I saw that I had a couple messages on Reddit last night, like right as I was gonna go to sleep. And I'm guessing the one was from you, and I was like, man, I need to respond to this, but I'm so tired and I have to wake up early. So I will do that after this. In fact, a really good way for us to stay in touch, I mostly do not use Reddit as my speaking with customers method at this point. I will, right? And I do check it, but Discord is primarily how I'm doing it now. Yeah, which
Sorry,
is
Down with
awesome, by
Valves.
the way.
He couldn't check Reddit. He had to go wash his solar panels.
Yeah. See, it sounds like a shitty excuse when you say it that way, except I really did wash my solar panels this morning.
That doesn't make it any less funny.
Talking shit. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't.
Isn't that why you have me on voice?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, that is definitely why you're here.
Talking shit and reading chat.
Yep. Well, those two things. Yeah, you're right.
Down with Ball says, I mean, gotta get that electricity somehow. Clean energy, am I right?
Yeah, right? Clean energy. Clean energy in this case. Doubly clean.
Doubly clean. That's scrubbed energy.
So here's the thing, right? I've only had the solar panels for like 3 or 4 months. So normally you wouldn't wash your solar panels that fast, except the dumpster fire that is 2020 is
And
not
it is a
actually
dumpster.
joke in California. The shit is actually on fire.
So you've got
there's
ash on your
ash.
solar
Yeah,
panels?
so there's ash all over them. So I was like, okay, well, I need to.
You've got to moisturize your solar panels because they're a little ashy.
Oh, I see what you did there. Ha 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 ha. So down with Val's.
You're welcome.
You should totally hit me up on Discord, or at least just send me your Discord information if you've got it. That'll be a great way for us to keep in contact. I do check my Reddit. I'm just less on top of Reddit these days than I was in the past, mostly because I don't use it for that. But yeah. The message was only a couple hours old, so I didn't feel too bad. Or you should just give me your Austin. Oof, dude. Oof. Oof. I'm gonna copy paste that.
Oh, Sagarputi says, I have lubed my creams, but should I also film them with Kibo films? I think that's really up to you.
I don't think it's a bad move. I really don't. I really don't. Friends. Add friend. I'm gonna add you as a friend, man. Add friend.
And if anybody else would like to come say hi to us on Discord or on Instagram, I will
Yeah.
post the socials right there. And also our Callan Ops channel if you want to see some fun things. Black Simon,
What?
thank you for the
Black
raid with
Simon.
96 people. Oh my
Welcome
goodness.
all 96 of you raiders.
Welcome, Raiders.
Good. They didn't let me know that I need to show them my knobs. Whew. I was worried.
Which is funny because you were going to show on the buzzer with this, weren't you?
Well,
Isn't
no,
that
I
kind
don't
of the
have the
plan?
buzzer. That's I guess I need to order one. I didn't
I
know that
guess
it
you
had a
do.
buzzer option. I mean,
Always go with the buzzer option.
too late, Sam. Too late. No, not too late. Well, I showed you guys last time. Crap. All right, here. Knobs.
Oh, you do have a thing with knobs.
Yeah, but literally only one thing with knobs. Like only one thing with knobs. Burp, 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 burp,
I
burp.
thought you had a keyboard with a knob on it.
Nope.
Oh,
No keys
double
with
knob.
the knobs. Must verify knob.
double knobs.
Look, knob.
Oh, show us an ISO as well. Didn't you have the
Okay, I'll show you ISO. I'll tell you what. I'll show you ISO.
static gauge? Oh, and kiss Gatoron. Apparently Gatoron needs some love.
That's true though.
Hey, wasn't there a panda one that was coming too?
Yeah.
Like someday?
Soon, TM.
Yeah, soon TM. Oh. Poop.
Okay. All right. I'll show you an ISO.
Yeah, I think so, Omar Pixel. I think it was from TKC. I don't remember.
Sorry, this board doesn't have any other keycaps on it now, but now it has one. There you go.
It's
ISO.
Pingu. I am not text to speech, but thank you. Yes.
Yep. Super advanced Siri.
Super advanced Siri with the snarky.
See if plate
Package.
makes you type faster, right? It's for the speed. Don't show Simon those JWKs. Why? Uh-oh, why not? Why not, Bouncy? Something bad gonna happen? Use dielectric. Oh man, I don't use dielectric.
Why would you? Simon, you should have said when you came in here, show us your lube.
Ooh. You want lube?
Sure,
lube?
show us your lube.
All right. Lube. One tub, two tub, three tub.
That 205 grade 0 though.
Got that lube though?
Black Simon, from now on, it's going to have to be show us your tubs.
That's enough for a whole farm of alpacas. Anatory, thank you, man. That's awesome. I need to go lube my entire farm of alpacas.
Pardon me. Pardon me, I have to go lube my alpacas today.
Yeah, I don't.
In keeping with the ridiculous excuses for not doing things theme.
Still trying to finish my Krillbit lube order from 2018. Hey man, I've got more lube.
There's some flux in there too, isn't there?
No.
Or that's a different bin.
Here's
the flux bin is a different bin.
Crytox 103. Dielectric. I mean, I don't know who even uses that. Yuck. Fucking fluoro lube? Nah, nobody uses that. Here's some store uni garbage. That's garbage. In here, there's a bunch of 3204 containers wrapped up, but I'm not gonna open them.
So Unknown H asks, aged vintage lube, do you even aerate your lube?
So sometimes I do mix it all up. Swirl it around. It doesn't really tend to separate in that tub very much, but sometimes I do use a little one of our little applicators to like mix it up, make sure it stays homogenized.
Ooh. We're using big words today.
Nut. I love that, Black Simon. Dude, yeah, I got a bunch of Krail. I got a bunch of lube from Krail. In fact, I'm super bummed that Krail is not in that business, or that he got out of it. Honestly,
so
like, it's a
we've got
sad
another
day.
question from Static Age. Static Age says, should I not be using dielectric super lube on my stabs then? I use 205 grade 0 on the housings, but inject super lube into the back around the wire to get rid of the rattle.
Okay, so, or is he dun dun dun? Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. So I guess the deal is, lubing is an art, right? It really is. So we can talk about all the science of lubing, but frankly, however you do it that works for you is the way you should be doing it. That's the way I feel about it. I have my methods, you have your methods. I think that super lube is a less quality product. I do actually have a tub of super lube, but I removed it from this desk. I think it's in my closet, like a giant canister of it. Super lube I have seen dry out and get kind of crumbly in there, so it would almost need to be reapplied, where the board might need to be rebuilt if the stabs were all in there, right? They're like, you'd have to desolder everything and pull it apart to get to them again. I would stay away from super lube, but if it's working for you, it's working for you. I feel a similar way about dielectric grease, where it can get a lot of contaminants in it and it can kind of dry out too. But again, like, if it's what's working for you or any other builder, that's the way to do it. Yes, takes 18 to 24 months to dry out. There you go.
Unknown H says, Carl is still selling lube. He found someone to down pack, but in lesser quantities. Unknown says, I use 207 grade 6.
Oh, 207 grade 6. Whoa, grade 6. That must be like thick. Like, you just apply a really tiny amount. Yeah, man. 207 grade 6 would be like super thick. Okay, so this says
207 grade 6 is a brick. Hit the stab with a brick. It's called butter.
So this says chip side facing PCB here. Outside pads are used for mini USB model. Oh, weird. I didn't. Okay. Didn't know there was a mini USB model. Shows what I know. Yeah, 207 grade 6 sounds like terrifyingly thick. Okay, so we're gonna flash this thing with the Navi10 flash first. Just because I don't want to deal with it after. There should be reset ability otherwise, but we'll just do the thing now. So we are gonna head on over to, hold on one sec. We will head on over to where are we headed? QMK configurator. I bet it's in there. Hopefully it's in there. Otherwise, we're gonna have to load up actual QMK, which I don't want to do. Navi, cool. Navi10 Rev 3, which is what we're doing. There's no default key map. That's weird. All right, well, we will do you, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Right, and we will compile that bad boy. We'll bake that oven. We'll bake that potato.
That's taters, precious.
Navi10 is in there. Yeah. Navi10 is cool, man. I'm really excited. I've had this thing laying around for a really long time, and I like haven't done anything with it. And that's kind of a bummer. It's kind of a bummer. Man, I just keep thinking of like 207 grade 6. And I'm like, what is that like? I've never used it, but it must be like...
Apparently they're lubing with bread dough. I don't know.
Yeah. Super thick. A bar of soap. Yes. There you go, Doxkey. Yeah, man. That sounds kind of believable. Okay. Okay, Navi10. So let me pull up
Could you
here.
imagine typing on sourdough? I mean, there is that bread,
yeah, but bread
key set.
Bread key set is like black red, right? Like, so that's...
No, I thought that was actually there was a bread like beige.
There is. You're right.
Tan color.
You're right. Which is kind of, nah, not all about it. Not all about it. Seems like a weird. Now, see, it would have been cool if they did like Wonder Bread or something like that, and they had the Wonder Bread colors or something that I could get behind. But the bread,
That would
like,
be cool. Like a white case with the red and
I
blue
didn't
and
like
yellow.
it. I wasn't about it. I wasn't about
That would
it.
be cool.
Sure, Black Simon had very, very friendly things to say about that set. I don't recall what he had to say about that set, but I'm gonna guess that it wasn't a super good one.
It was not good things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, isn't there a
toolbox
bread wrist rest?
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
So I put the layout. I already loaded that up, right? So we're gonna get this bad boy plugged in and ready to roll.
I'm going to mess this name up, and I'm really sorry, but is it Kaye Vi? Thank you for the follow. If I screwed that up, please tell me how to pronounce that properly.
Oh, what's going on here?
Down with Vel says, get a custom key made in the shape of a bread loaf and then put on bread keycaps.
That's what I want.
Doxkey, Tiny from Tiny Makes Things has a bread wrist rest.
That's what I meant to do. 32U4. And now my computer sees it as a Navi10. Great.
Woo!
Sweet. We'll plug this thing back in over here. Maybe. Tiny has a bread wrist rest. See, that seems cool, but the just like straight up a key set aimed after bread, I can't get behind that. It seems silly. Not gonna say it's trash. To each their own, but not for me. Not for me. This says clip leads before adding Pro Micro. What on earth could they mean by clip? Oh, I know what they mean. Okay, so we're gonna have to put our ALP switches on here now. So we'll solder in all the switches. I don't know why it says to do the Pro Micro first. Oh, it says to solder in the headers, then solder the switches. Okay, good. It does say the right thing. That's why I was like, that's weird. So we will solder these headers in. That's fine. So the way to solder these headers in for everybody who hasn't done this before, right? You could flip this over and try and get it, but these things will want to like be all out of whack here. So the right way to align them, in my experience, is to throw the actual controller on there. All right, and then when you flip it over, when you set it down, it will mostly just stay in place.
Doxky says it should have been a type of bread and not bread. Like I would have appreciated a GMK pumpernickel or GMK rye or GMK sourdough. GMK 7 grain.
All right.
GMK
if it was branded
brioche. There we
and
go.
it had colorway to match it, like I said, Wonder or Roman top or whatever the like different stuff is, I could kind of get that. I really could. Right? Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this thing in a way that we normally don't, which is to say we don't normally use this thing anyway. So I guess we're doing a thing we don't normally do. But I'm gonna pop this off. I'm gonna use the alligator clippy deal to literally just hold the Pro Micro in place. Right? Man, we're gonna use the
GMK corgi loaf. Aw, that would have been adorable.
See, that would have been cool. See, we're gonna use this tool finally for what it's made to be used for.
Ooh.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
What? That sounds
It's bonkers.
That sounds crazy.
It's bonkers. Yeah, I think GMK Wonder Bread would have been cool.
Could have come with a little cape on it.
But the corgi?
I mean,
Or
that's
the
a good idea
corky?
too. Morven Mad, I love proper tool usage. That's a
Aw.
cool emoji, Morven Mad.
Okay.
The heart with the little stars in it. I like it.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab this not by that end pin that I'm touching, push it up while I follow that joint, just so that it's seated properly.
That's what she said. GIF.
It is. It is though. Okay. Now we don't need that.
It's a heart-shaped Dragon Ball for all of the anime fans in chat.
Aw. I'll even open it. Oh no. Oh, I thought it was an actual GIF link. See, you fooled me down with vowels. See, because Twitch actually made it a link.
Fooled.
And I was like, oh, I'll go to that link. Fail. Morven Mad, proper tool usage. Always use your tools responsibly.
And properly.
That's what she said.
That is what she said. I
Use your-
literally just said it.
Use your tools properly. Okay, cool. We're gonna pull that bad boy out.
Down with Val says, sorry man, I don't link things on Twitch or anywhere else for that matter because of it generally being against the rules or frowned upon. As long as it's related or like conversation related, it's fine to put links in here. Just don't put, you know, links that have nothing to do with anything.
Or links that are super inappropriate.
Right. Like nothing not safe for work.
Yeah, I allow people to post links in my chat if it's like to keyboard related products. If it's like relevant to the conversation we're having. So like if basically if you wanted to post that GIF, it would be fine. Stuff like that. But I understand and I generally appreciate that people are that way. Usually people come in and ask.
Well, I mean, we don't mind a swear or two here and there, and I mean, we'll even say a swear, but like,
Sure.
we also know that there are kids in this, and there are parents that watch this with their kids. So,
Yeah, I mean, the content is not for kids, and I do mark it as adult content because I am definitely not marketing myself in any capacity towards kids. That being said, you know, I'm not trying to offend people's families and stuff. Like, if they do watch it with their kids, because that's just, you know, life, and kids can watch things on the internet randomly. So, yeah, I just, like, sometimes curse words get said here, so it's marked appropriately. So if that happens, like, you know, I hope people don't get really mad at me because, well, oh, dude, I just did literally the thing that I should not have done, and now I have to desolder all of that.
Keegan Zero, thank you so much for the follow.
See, I was distract, and I did it the wrong way, and now I have to
Such distract.
and now I have to remove it. Now we have to go burp burp. I literally put it on the top side, even though I like had it correct when I was trying it. Such distract. Burp burp.
Much distract. Such burp.
Yep. That's okay though. It's really not that big of a deal. We did this with just solder wick and a manual solder sucker at TSC's.
You did. I was pretty impressed, not gonna lie.
So, but this time we're gonna use this.
Cause my solder sucker is crappy.
Burp
Like,
burp.
My solder sucker is like the 50-cent one you get at the thrift store, as opposed
It's the free
to
one.
this
It's
awesome
the free one.
one.
It's the free one that comes with things.
Yeah.
With like a soldering kit.
Yeah.
It really is.
And this, for anybody new, is the desoldering gun of doom. I'm sorry for the assault on your eardrums. So Down with Val says, okay, so while on the subject of soldering, what do you suggest is the best way to learn how to do it? Also ASMR, thanks. So there have been a lot of suggestions for learning how to solder, but
I don't recommend against doing a kit like this.
Yeah, like I
this
guess
would
doing
be
little
this would be a
kits,
good this would be a good way.
There's what's the Practice 65 board that you can do?
Yeah, but that's gonna be way more soldering than this.
There are little kits you can get on Amazon too that are specifically for learning how to solder.
Yeah.
And put stuff
Absolutely.
together.
Sorry, I know that's loud. Love you guys. Sorry.
Didn't mean it. Don't be angry.
Yeah. No. Not the Discipline 65, although that is an option too. No, Canon Keys had a thing, Hanatori, called the Practice 65, and I don't know if there's still any available on their site. I think there is not. There may be. What's up, Selk? How you doing, man? You learned on the Maypad from Keyhive. Yeah, that's a decent way to do it too. Pretty much any of these little kits or whatever, like a lot of them are really cheap. So just, you know, get a couple of them. If you want to learn how to solder and you're like not sure about your skills or whatever, like get a couple of these little kits. They're totally reasonable. That did not work. Correct. Why not?
come to IMEURU stream for an assault on your eardrums.
No. Hopefully not.
Oh, it's so loud. It's
Is
so
it really?
freaking loud.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
I'll
really
try.
loud. Hey, did you see that that 3D printable spring container thing from Zambuan?
No, I didn't. What are you talking about? Oh, I think I did. Also, isn't
It's like
Dixie
a spring
selling?
keeper?
I think Dixie is also selling like a stackable set of them, switch and or spring holders.
Yeah,
They're
think
different.
so.
They're not for spring lubing. They're just for switches.
I think it's just to
and
keep them
keycaps.
vertical while you're picking them to do stuff with. Hang on, I will get a link for you guys. Oh, thank you, Mysteric. Really appreciate that.
What happened? What happened?
They linked the Spring Keeper. Selk, I'm doing pretty good. Josh, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. Like I said, I woke up a little earlier than I normally do, so that I could wash my solar panels.
Like you do.
I mean, like I did. Seemed like a totally reasonable thing for me.
Down with Val says, this is the whole reason I wanted to pay someone to build my board rather than me going about it myself. I figured it needed a special touch over my inexperience. Well, you take commissions, Josh.
I do. It helps if I don't scuff my own little macro pad build here.
That's true. If it is unscuffy.
People will be like, oh no, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. I was just distracted. I'm sorry. It's okay though.
Someone had to distract.
We can get that fixed real quick. No permanent harm done. Okay, so what it does do to these is it does kind of loosen the them up a little bit.
So we have some questions. Do you hose off the panels or just run like a dust mop over it?
Ooh.
And Static H says, do you have any ash buildup on the panels from the fires? Static H, that's actually why he was up there.
Yeah, that's why I was cleaning them off, Static Age.
Yeah.
So usually you wouldn't clean your solar panels like a few months after you got them because they just don't require that much attention. But yeah, there's ash buildup, and so it was like, well,
You were making ash angels up there.
yeah, I was making ash angels. I got in a velour tracksuit and I just like crawled across it. No,
Like
so
you do.
I bought a brush. I bought a brush that's made for that thing. Specifically made for
old
that thing.
brushy.
And it basically, like, you hook a hose up to the back of it and like water runs through the extendable handle into the brush head and sprays brush directly down onto it, or sprays water directly down onto it as you're brushing. And then it has a squeegee on the backside, and the squeegee I just didn't use. I tried and I was like, there's no effing way I'm gonna effectively use this squeegee. It's a ridiculous tool. So squeegee no, brushing yes. It was great though. It actually worked pretty well. And I'd be willing to bet that I'm making a little more power right now than I was Yesterday.
Bitter Seed says, my buddy has to clean his often lately. Ash and bird droppings make for a gross concoction. Oh yeah, that sounds pretty terrible.
I'm not gonna lie, like that sounds totally legit. Like all of those things are gross. All right, try again. Well, hold on. You know what? We actually have this up. Oop. So there you go. We're pumping 5.1 kilowatts into the batteries right now off the solar. So it's 11:22 in the morning and we're making 6.5 kilowatts. So we will.
Nice. Is it cloudy there from the ash, or is it pretty clear today?
It's smoky. It's pretty smoky, and so like 6.5K at this time of day is actually pretty good. Should deter. There's not trees around my house, so there isn't a lot of birds that want to land on it. It's birds that just fly over and shit on it. Jerks.
Gross.
Yeah. Pigeons. Yeah, there's no pigeons. I've yet to see pigeons here. What did I see? Scuffs? Something about scuffs? Oh no.
Have your friend get a fake owl lawn ornament and place them on the roof or near the tree. That's a good deterrent. Pigeons murder our panels with their droppings.
Yeah, I'm kind of lucky.
Oh, I just saw somebody say scuffs, or Morven said scuffs happen to all. Yeah, scuffs can happen.
Well, that's true. I think, okay, so talking about like having somebody build your board for you versus not. Mm-hmm. So there are little like gotchas that happen with any board build or anything. It's really about how you respond to them, you know? It's like, do you recover from it? Do you know how to recover from it? And the people that are building regularly, either professionally or hobbyists or like just their own stuff, whatever, it's generally speaking, the people that I've seen, at least, like once they're doing it a lot, they usually have not only the tools, but the understanding and knowledge necessary to correct any little issues that arise. That's not to say that if you're brand new to it, you can't do the same. You can, but you may have to like stop and come back a different day or a different time once you've learned what it is or gotten the tool or whatever that you need. I am all for people, having me build their boards or whatever. Not even necessarily me. I think I've heard people who are like experienced with soldering or whatever be like, I don't know why anyone would have somebody pay somebody to build their board for them. And it's like, well, because not everyone has the skill or the desire to do that thing. Like, and it's not even about skill. Like, some people just want somebody else who does the thing a lot to like make it exactly right. You know what I mean? Yeah, thanks, Bueno, for backing me up on that.
For me, like I've soldered things before, but I wouldn't have the confidence to solder a keyboard together.
Yeah, I mean,
so I would definitely want to seek out somebody who knew how to do that thing.
Yeah, you can totally get it done yourself. I believe that you could make it happen, but at the same time, like, if it's not a big deal to you to just send it off and let it rest with somebody who's going to do it as a service for you, and you pay them a few bucks and you have to pay shipping or whatever back and forth. I mean, let's put it this way, right? If you're spending, okay, so we had that Kintsugi Jane V2 up the other day, right? It's like $6,000 probably right now on the open market, like, or like Kepler or HBCP or
whatever.
There's a Baka 60 right here, right? You got in on Squid 60, right?
Yeah, I did.
Do you recall what it cost? It was a public buy, right?
For me, it ended up being like $525.
Okay, so you're gonna spend $525 on the board, plus you're gonna spend another $100 on switches, maybe $100 on switches and stabs, right? So you're gonna pay like just north of $600 for a keyboard. If you're paying $600 for a keyboard and you're gonna pay another $120, let's say, to get it to me, get it built, and get it back, that's not like a huge investment, right? And it'll just show up to you built and right the way you want it. You know what I mean? If you describe to me what you want, or if you just are like, build it the way you would build it, you know what I mean? Like lube them the way you would lube them or whatever, like, then you'll get that kind of experience. And that's why people pay to have that thing done. But the fact that you can do it yourself is absolutely true. I have no doubts. All of you guys could do it yourself. And you know what? We're just going to use this today. I like this. Okay. Well, we can't really do it that way. Okay. All right. Well. Oh, well, we tried. So this is going to be weird. The ALP switch doesn't actually fit in there properly. So I will have to clip these, the backs of these.
So Morven says I might get someone to build my key card if I get one, but for the most part, I'm going to do all my builds and deal with the scuffs. Down with Vowel says, don't forget your keycaps figured into your price. Morven asks, any tips on packaging a built board? I just made one for a friend and I'll be sending it out soon.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, so like use the original packaging material. That's the best. Like if you have the original packing material, use that. But if you don't, right, you find a box that you're gonna put it in, put foam in it, make sure that everything is tightened down. Like make sure, don't like over torque it or anything, but make sure that you have the case screws all tight, the pleat screws all tight so that nothing can rattle around. And then
but
put
not
it in,
over tighten because you don't want to wreck the screws.
Make sure that it's completely wrapped in bubble wrap and foam would be better. And tape it up so that it can't move, so that it can't come out of its foam or whatever, and set it in the box. And make sure that there's enough packing material so that it can't like jostle back and forth or side to side, so that it's tight in there. Not like super tight, like where you got to step on the box, but snug, you know?
I also want to point out that you missed a really great opportunity to say step 1, get a box.
Step 2, not cut a hole in the box. No.
Yeah, don't cut a hole in the box.
Yeah, you're right. I did miss out on the opportunity to do all of that. Wow.
So scuffed.
Okay, so for this one, we had to cut all those pins off pretty flush, right? Because we're gonna put these ALP switches down, and well, they don't want to sit down into the spot that's there for them. Even now, they're still gonna sit up just a little bit higher than they would if they were in this position. No, they won't. They're actually about right. Okay. So we're gonna solder these switches in, but then we're gonna have to hand align them once we get caps on there. Gabzilla, thanks for the follow. That's actually a good time to remind you guys, if you aren't already following or subbed, go ahead and think about clicking one of those buttons. Let's hang out more. Let's stay in touch.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so since these aren't MX PCB mount switches, right? They're not gonna just stick in here kind of on their own. So we have a couple options. But the way that I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna put all these in. I'm gonna throw a little plastic cutting mat flipperoo kind of deal. Not to be confused with Flippy Bears.
Flippy Bears? No, Flippy Bears are bad.
Right? And then we're gonna tack one leg down. And that's gonna let us kind of align these things a little bit.
Enjoy your noms down with vowels.
Take it easy down with vowels. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Boom. Okay. So now's that time. What do we think about keycaps?
I mean, I'm going with my original thing, but
The light cycle ones.
yeah,
We're not
cool.
gonna use those.
Well then,
Sorry,
I don't know. What are the?
I have to trim stuff
right.
on them. I
That's
don't
right.
want to do that.
What was the other? I mean,
So we could do one of two newer sets. We could do DCS Yuri, or we could do DCS Alps Throwback, or we can use these K104s. They'll look like a pretty simple beige kind of colorway. I'm kind of leaning toward that. That's what it'll eventually rest on this, no matter what.
I mean, go for it.
But I mean, what do you guys want? What do you guys want to see?
I mean, I think maybe let's do a poll. I'd have to actually see them. Like, I think aren't most of them pretty much in the beige realm or the throwback realm?
Well, Yuri is orange and blue.
That might be cool. Ooh, we have a question. Garlic WTF says, thoughts on Linwheel R2?
Thoughts on Linwheel round 2 is I'm sad that I didn't get in on the like extras B stock whatever buy that just happened. Womp womp. No boards for me. I like the whale. I like the whale round 1 and round 2. I think it's a great board. I think it's beautiful.
Bittersweet says, I had someone comment to me about how folks today love beige because it's retro, but us Gen X folks only had beige everything, monitors, PCs, cubes, and the rest. It's why we hate beige. I can see that.
So you don't want beige is what I'm hearing. What if it is actually retro?
I mean, technically, you and I are both millennials, but
technically, yes, but being on the early side of that.
Technically, we're Xennials. Yeah, Xennials. But I totally remember that, like, all of the beige everything computers.
So what I was thinking of was this keycap set, which actually is a retro keycap set. Right? So it'd be like that. But I mean, the other options.
Oh, Garlic says it was the anniversary special raffle Cherry Blossom Pink. They will get these made by November 20th. I won one, hence that's why I was asking.
Oh man, that's awesome!
Congratulations,
dude.
That's
awesome and super jelly that I didn't get in on that raffle. Yeah, we're gonna put these on at least to.
You missed that raffle, Copter.
It's not that I missed the raffle, it's that I did not win. Shit happens though.
That's true.
Of course, these keycaps aren't organized in any way that would allow me to. Well, there are gonna be these darker ones. All right, I think I decided. I think we're doing these. Just
okay, that is what we are doing.
I'm just gonna, But now they're on. And I really want to get all of this centered. I need to choose at this point just so that I can. I guess I should probably be a little more methodical about how I do this thing, but things and stuff.
Better Seed says, I won essay bliss. I showed the wife. She immediately claimed them for herself. The only caveat is that she said I could spend cash to get a set for myself because she was taking winnings.
Oh my gosh. It's like, no, these are mine. You get your own.
Also, Gabzilla, thank you for the follow.
That's rough, dude. That's rough. She's like, no, mine. Okay, so we should only have delete left. Find. Okay. So look at that. They're all perfect right out of the box. That alignment is so bad.
I'd like to point out there's some
misalignment.
alignment issues.
Yeah. No, I know.
Slight.
Well, I mean, there's nothing to hold them in their place normally. You're going to buy cam super user if when or your color scheme. Can you post a link to that? Bitter Seeds? Cam super user? Trying to SU as the OS modifier tickles you. Yeah, that's kind of cool. That's a cool.
Garlic says, any suggestion on what switches I should build the LIN with? I was thinking of alpacas and CRP Arabic.
I mean, that sounds beautiful. That sounds both good and beautiful.
We have links. Ooh, that's pretty.
Wow, that's beautiful. So you would actually like probably the DSA light cycle set that I do have. I'm not going to use that on this because the Alp stems from that set are known to need trimming.
It is known.
I'll find it. Okay. So these were two of the three other options. So this is Yuri. Right? So Yuri looks like that. Like this. Those, right? Stuff like that. Which is kind of cool, I think. Okay. So Yuri's great, but they made Signature Plastics made Light Cycle, which had like that color as an accent and this color and a black as their primary colors. With Alp stems. Yeah. Alp's light cycle. It was hard to track down. I actually need a different kit so that I have the 1.75U right shift. That's the only thing that I need that I don't have. I might be able to find a blank 1.75U in that color black potentially, which would be okay, but ideally I would have that because I want to put it on 1800 boards. So that's cool. And then throwback, Alp's throwback looks like
So Bitter Seeds says, I have a miniature light cycle on my shelf with a dude riding it and a set of Lego light cycles. Nice.
that's awesome.
Are you going to go get it right now?
Which?
Zoom light cycle or light cycle derp. Zoomwald asks light cycle question mark.
Well, so that's what I had just showed off was light cycle.
Right.
This is Alp's throwback. So here's the actual light cycle keycap.
Oh,
Right.
Come on, focus. There we go.
It did. Yeah. So that is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Thanks, Bitter Seeds. Yeah, I was gonna say that's from Tron.
Yeah, from Tron. And then this is DCS Alps throwback, and I was thinking about this, but it's just a bunch of grays for that part of the keycap set, or blues, right, for the arrows. So I figure we'll just use the OG original keycap set with even just a little bit of yellowing on it. Look at that. It's crazy. All right. Anyway. So now we're gonna hand align these bad boys. Right? So the way I'm gonna do this, right, is align them so that the pins are all up at the top. I think that's how we're gonna do these, all of them. So they'll all be misaligned when we're done with this, but then we'll align them all with their second pin by bending them into place after we solder them.
I'm sure this is a lot easier than when you had to hand align those vent blacks.
On that Jane on that Jane half plate.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because it's so much fewer keycaps to deal with, so much fewer switches to deal with. Okay, so now they'll all be cocked to the same-ish side. Okay. Right. So we'll kind of tweak them a little bit. They should all be in line with each other at the top, right? Because we pushed them all up. So we are going to look at the one that looks kind of the most aligned, which I think is page up. Looks like it's lined up with the top. Insert looks pretty good too, actually. Right, so we'll tack their second leg in. That's how we're going to do this with Alps.
Glarce's one, that is quite the small boy. Yes, it is. It's a little bitty macro pad.
Ooh. Larses, what's up, man? Yeah, so I think that's what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna line up those two that look pretty good at the top, right? And then we're gonna have to just kind of align everything. And since they're Alps, it's all pretty loose in there right now. I think we can kind of twist them around and it'll tweak the legs a little bit before we even solder those together. And that seems to be correct. Seems to be working the way we want it to, roughly. Wow, it does. It's crazy. It's totally different than like aligning MX switches with like, because the holes are smaller. So if you look here, I'll show you guys. So if you look under a microscope, right, this is kind of important. So if you look, one of those holes is smaller and the pin fits really roughly. The one where there's two holes, kind of almost. Here, let me. So right here, right? So this hole, it's two smaller holes. So this one, the pin fits pretty tightly in and it seems pretty normal. But this one, there's a ton of play. So what we were kind of doing is we tacked the one side down, and as we bend them, it's kind of twisting this leg a little bit into place. Whereas like with MX, the hole is pretty tight in both cases. There's a little bit of play. So you would like tack them both down and you would just kind of push on one of them and tweak it a little bit, like with the solder joint molten. So like you would just kind of tweak it a little bit. In this case, we're tacking the one down and we can bend it, and you can see if I bend this down, it'll push that leg all the way down, and that one will stay where it is, and then we'll tack the second one in. So that's kind of how we're going about aligning these right now. So once we get them relatively close, then I'll tack the other one down, and then I'll worry about aligning them a little bit more finely. It's possible that Alps will never be perfectly aligned because these two center switches actually have, well, it helps if they're snapped down. They actually sit ever so slightly taller. Because of the pins on the backside of this, even though we clipped them. Get rid of this. Yeah, it's a totally different way of like thinking about it compared to MX, but it's kind of okay. Okay, the top looks pretty aligned to itself or to each other. I'm gonna tack down home now. Those are pretty lined up. So home is gonna get tacked down with its second pin. Okay, make sure these others are aligned to it. Man, those actually look pretty good. Just gonna tack those down all together. All three of those. Ooh,
Sir D,
Nicholas,
thank you so much for the sub.
For that resub, 3 months in a row, my man. Thank you so much. Okay. Soldered that one down. Soldered that one down. Soldered that one down. Okay, cool. I think those are pretty well aligned. Pretty well. All right, now to do these. Actually, these look pretty aligned now too. Sweet. Tack all those down. There's second legs. That's the one with a little shorty pin. That's all in. Okay, cool. I think that's pretty good, man. It's about as close as it's gonna get. Got your gingham fixed by a professional. Nice, man. Nice, nice. Okay. I'm trying to remember what was wrong with your gingham. Send images. Remind me. I think we would be wise. Clip these. Okay. So we clip the little pins in there. Steelwind, what's up, man? We're doing great today.
Hi, Steelwind.
I think we're doing great.
Turns out my shitty USB solder shorted a diode.
Oh.
I never knew what was wrong, but I never figured it out without giving it to a professional. Steelwind says, hey, Mr. and Miss Miru, how are you both doing today? I'm doing well. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Okay, so now we've got the controller ready to go in. We got the keycaps look fine. They look pretty aligned, I think. Bottoms are all pretty lined up. Like all these are lined up. Tops, yeah, they look pretty good. They feel good. Okay. Do this. Good to hear, man. Good to hear. Good to hear that you are doing well, sir. Or ma'am. Sir and or ma'am. All right. Here we go. So I was just talking to my friend when we finished the solar panel thing. I was like, man, wonder if there's like Saturday and Sunday morning cartoons. Like, do you remember being a kid and that being a thing?
Yes.
Like, I haven't had cable, television at least, in so long that I just don't know. Do they even do that anymore? Is that like a thing?
I'm pretty sure they do.
I don't know, like I'm just so used to everything being on the internet.
Oh, how about them Packers? They're doing all right. They were 2-0 so far, but I have not been watching them. They're on today. I can't remember what time they play.
You haven't been watching them?
No,
what kind
I haven't.
Of Packers fan?
I know. It's at they actually play tonight, so haven't missed it yet. Penguin, hi friend.
What up, Penguin? How you doing?
How you doing?
Ooh, Penguin, I saw what you posted. That Instagram post to admit that looked pretty cool.
Penguin command. Yeah, I really haven't been paying a whole lot of attention to football this year.
Oh no. Why not?
Meh. Reasons.
Bit busy.
Yeah.
Ow.
Well, don't do that then.
I know. I want that joint to look like shit. Trying to clean up a little excess solder. Obsidian Raid forced you to take pictures. It looked awesome. Forced you? I mean, it looked great. Should be proud of it. And honestly, it's like, it's got me really like thinking. I'm like, man, because I'm thinking about making my monitor arrangement a little different for the what's hanging off the gantry for the stream setup. And I'm like, man, it would be kind of nice to have a portrait mode screen right here where I could read chat and it be separate.
Sir D, have a lovely sleepy bears.
Take it easy, Sir D. Have a great sleep time.
Thank you for stopping in.
Sleepy bears. Got it. All right, so time to put those standoffs in and then we've got ourselves a board. Maybe. Before we do any of that nonsense. Okay, so that LED is not doing anything. So there will have to be some kind of a thing later where I tweak it in okay, so all the switches work at least. So yeah, there's gonna be something, and I don't remember who was saying that they ran into that same problem. I'm guessing that I'm gonna have to go into QMK and create a load that works for that. And exactly how to do that, I don't know, so I'm not gonna show it on this screen. Portrait is nice for you as well. You get to see terminals full screen. Yeah, so all of my screens are landscape. Like right now I have these two, which are small, but basically I never use a computer here, so I probably need to rearrange that. I have another single monitor over there where I dock a work thing to, so I have two, right, one there and then a work one. My main computer is directly to my right, and I have a 3 monitors all in landscape wide view, and I have the wings angled in a little, so it's like I have one that sits directly in front and then two kind of like at angles a little bit. And then here I have this screen directly in front of me and another screen up here. And that's kind of how I'm going, but it would be kind of nice to have another one off to the side. Probably that way, if I'm being honest. Although I don't know how it would interfere with the mic stand. But probably that way. Like...
Bouncy, the answer is yes, all of them.
Yeah. All of them. Thought about a third, but I have to buy a new base amount due to OCD. Yeah, so the thing over there, my main rig has a very tall bar or pole stand, and it's got a 3-mount VESA thing that supports up to 28-inch monitors, and there's 327s wide. It's tall and there's more pole space above, and I just have a light mounted down, but I could put 3 more monitors in theory there, but I wouldn't do that. If I do anything over there, I'll put a really big ultra wide on top of it so that there's 3 wide and then 1 really big ultra wide for like watching TV shows or whatever BS, if I want to do that in here. Although I do that at my TV, so I don't know why. Here, this pole, the pole that this is on, and you can see it swing back and forth a little bit now. Let me stabilize it again. That's hanging off the gantry. Was I supposed to kiss Gatoron? Is that what Black Simon's people wanted me to do?
Somebody wanted you to kiss Gatoron at some point.
Did it?
I don't. Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So that's the pole hanging off the gantry, and I have
hey, Visionaire.
2 single mounts.
Long time no see, bud.
But I have the stuff to do double wide VESA mounts on it. Well, did you see the LTT story about his gaming setup in his bathroom? Steelwind, no. Which video is this? When? How long ago? Bounty Teleps. I have 3 monitors and 1 computer in my garage for slight usage. 2 in the bathroom, 1 in bathroom. Once I move, I'm gonna wall mount everything. Wall mount is totally the way to do, dude. Like, no joke, wall mount. Or ceiling mount in the case of this stuff off the gantry. Apparently, wall mounting is what people who own homes do, and ceiling mount is what deviants do. According to according to everyone who watches my stream. Sorry that you can't wall mount, man. That sucks because it really is optimal. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. It's pretty much the bee's knees of mounting systems.
Oh dear.
Wall mounted keyboard when gasket, so 2020. Yes, man. Yes. It's Pingu. Yes. Gasket mount, so done. I have to admit, if you're going to choose to make a cool mounting system, you should probably wait till 2021.
If you want to do anything, wait till 2021.
Because 2020 is kind of just going to generally be referred to as the dumpster fire year forever.
Pretty much.
I like don't even know if something cool enough could happen that would redeem this year.
No.
I don't think it's possible.
I don't think so.
Like, it's just trash.
It might just be one of those things where it's like, Drifting bunnies, hi friend.
What up? What up, Drifting Bunnies? How you doing, man? How you doing? Hey, dude, I have 3 Austins at my house right now. One is round 1 though. I'm gonna say one is round 1, and it's mine, and it's been built. 2 are round 2, and they're awesome. And I have another customer, or potential customer, that just hit me up even on stream and was like, "Hey, I got Austin round 2, need build." It's gonna be like when HBCP finished, and there was a moment where I had 5 HBCPs in my house. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna have like five 5 Austins in my house. Have I opened them? Yeah, they're both open. The one that I have are open. Why were you asking, man? I think I've even shown them. Did I show them all on stream? Yeah, I showed your blue one, right, TSC?
I think at one point. Yeah. Well,
and I showed my red one.
Technically not supposed to be blue, but yeah.
Well, it's like a blue gray. I mean, that's a beautiful color.
I'm good with it. I love it.
It's a gray, but it's like slightly bluish gray, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is that color called? Drifting Bunnies again? I can't remember. The red one was it wasn't burgundy, it was Cabernet, yeah. And that's an accurate charcoal gray. Okay. I swear it's a different gray than my round 1 gray. Yeah, the one I got this round was a Cabernet. It's beautiful. I love that color, man. I love that color. Yeah, I don't think that the other gray is blue exactly, but it's like much more blue than this gray, than the round 1 gray. If that makes sense. It's supposed to be darker. Is it? I'm not going to pull them out right now. I have to resist the urge, but I will pull them out. When I do the build, I will actually set them side by side, and we will look at the differences in color. But I have to admit, Austin is one of the few boards. So like, if you watch my streams much, you will notice that even the nicest boards, like, I have something to say about them that isn't a thing that I like about them, right? Like, very few boards that I've had here actually get trash talked about them, where I'm just like, this is a piece of trash and you shouldn't buy this trash. I can't think of any time where that's really happened, although we came close that last time when we were looking at the rain. Not because I think the rain is trashy, but because the PCB was garbage that came with it the first time. And then, yeah, whatever. We're not gonna go into it. But as far as as far as boards go, I think there's a couple boards that I haven't had anything really negative to say about the board, and Austin is one of those. Like, I didn't find anything about it where I was like, oh, but this, I don't really like this part or whatever. Like, I didn't find much. Was just saying something, because I was even able to say these are things that I don't like about like Jane V2 as an example. So honestly, man, I like your work. I hope you keep it up. I hope you come up with some other cool stuff that we get to see. It's worth noting, man. It's worth noting.
Indeed.
Very few boards get literally, I say nothing at all about them that I think should or could have been different.
Homemade tacos. Thank you for the follow.
Soon, TM. Thanks, man. Soon, TM. Well,
I'm really looking forward to my Austin board, honestly.
you know, your boy is probably down to have one. Just saying. Gib Austin, please. Need 1800 board. Pepe hands. I am very reluctant to sell boards. You know how I am. But I may. Turns out I may have 2 Austins. Nah, I'm probably not gonna sell it, but I'll tell you what. I appreciate when people have 2 of something and they give one of them up to a friend who doesn't have one and wants one and is willing to pay them for it. It's a thing. I'm just saying. It's a thing. Well, I mean, it may be paying it forward a little bit. Jeff sold me his second iron
That's
for not stupid Flippy Bears prices, which thank you again, Jeff,
for normal bears.
Speaking
of Jeff,
gentleman. Yeah, where is he?
He has not been feeling very great lately.
Oh,
so
no.
people should go visit him.
Like sick or?
He posted about it in his Discord. He had some medical stuff going on. So if people
haven't paid enough attention, I should go hit up Jeff, who is friend.
He's a little sicky bears. So if you guys have time, go stop over and say hi and wish him a swift recovery.
I will absolutely after this. All right, so I mean, now we got this macro pad. I'm not gonna really do a typing test because, you know, what am I gonna type with it? Penguin droppings. That's how I feel about the JO2. One at home and another at the office, but no more office to go to. Oh, so sad. So sorry, Penguin. Maybe you're happy not having to go into I don't know. Sicky Bears is the worst.
For real.
Get it while it's hot. Last one flipped for 1200. Oh, drifting bunnies. That hurts me. That hurts me. I would way rather see you make the 1200 on it than. Okay. Yeah. Trash. That is trash. It should never be sold. That's just junk, right? Like, there's got to be a way, and I've had some ideas, but there's got to be a way to avoid the Flippy Bears prices going to all the crazy kids. Like, I'm gonna flip this board for $4,000 or whatever. No, I think you're reasonable. So I'll give you my basic soapbox fucking spiel on what I think is right.
We are on the soapbox,
for selling a board, right? Or reselling something. I think it's okay to get your money back out of that thing. Like, easy clap. No like hating. You buy a board for a certain amount of money. You pay tax, maybe you pay shipping to you. You're going to have to pay shipping to the other person, whatever. That's totally reasonable for that other person to incur all the price that you had to pay to get that thing. So that it might cost them more than the original GB, that's not unreasonable, right? Like, or if you like did something to it, you're like, man, I had this thing anodized by Caustic Customs or whatever. There's work into it. Like, it's built, it has all these parts in it, like they total up to something greater than the GB price, right? So like, okay, so I'm selling you this board and I'm selling it for this. Seems totally reasonable to me. But people taking $475, I think that's what these went for. I mean, these exact ones didn't go for that. They may have gone for a little bit more, but $475, right? So taking $475 board and selling this for $4,000, that
That's
happened.
Excessive.
That happened with one of these. Selling it for $4,000. What the
I think
fuck
that makes
is wrong with
somebody a
you?
giant d-bag.
What the fuck is wrong with you? That's my thoughts. That's my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. Don't do that. That's shitty.
Drifting Bunny says, what do you think about half raffle, half Vickery for extras? I was thinking more units for Vickery will help drop the Vickery price. I hope I am saying that right. I am sorry. And Penguin, I believe you started a rant.
Yeah, it's a little ranty. Sorry about that. Sorry, Penguin.
Personally, I like your rants.
Yeah, I was like, I'll stop.
Aw, it's Pingu. Why do you say all of us are the worst? Oh, I'm sad.
All of you are the worst. All of you are the worst. No, I mean, he's talking about people flipping. So here's the thing. Drifting bunnies. Yeah, I mean, that's a thing, right? You can do Vickery auctions, and Vickery auctions are actually pretty good. I think that Vickery auctions, if you do a lot of units as Vickery, like it drops the bar to entry for people that otherwise would want the board. Like in your mind, the board is worth what you're selling it for, right? Like you're having something manufactured and you're going through the process and you're marking up some percentage, which is good and reasonable, by the way. Not just to cover extras or a risk, but to like compensate you for your time, right? So you sell a board, right? You sell it for what you think is a fair price. Someone else flips it. If you sold it for a lot more, then a lot less people that are cool and are in the hobby and, you know, can afford what it costs, but can't afford like 5 times what it costs for one board. Like, they're gonna not be able to enter into it, right? So I kind of agree with a lot more Vickery and kind of and still having regular GB, but at the same time, I don't know what the right answer is exactly, but I think one of the right answers, at least if I were making boards, and this is not, I'm not telling you you should do this, you do what you do, but if I'm gonna make a board, I have a feeling that a way that I would make it go down for me is to run a small private GB so that people can get in, so that one, it can generate hype, but two, I can make sure that like prototypes are good and everything's good. And then I would run a slightly larger GB, but not super huge, and I would self-fund a bunch of units. Like I would just buy a bunch of units in there of my own. Like I would front that money, but I guess maybe I have the ability to do that, but I would buy a bunch of units and then I would literally sell them. Not like out on Mech Market, but like I would just run like one spot raffles at, you know, 3 times what the board actually cost for the prototype. Well, maybe not for the prototypes, but for those first runs. And I would just literally sell those. I would just be like, there's going to be a 1 spot raffle. Everybody join if you want it, whatever. And then boom. Boom.
So the question
boom.
then is, but that doesn't help the issue that people would flip right after though, right? And the raffles have no risk to join.
It doesn't, but I would set the price on those high enough that it would be like flipping this would be painful, right? To double your money would be like, nobody's going to do it. So effectively, I as the runner would be pseudo flipping the board. It wouldn't be flipping it because I'm the initial guy, but it would just be like, I don't know, man, like 1,500, 2,000. It's like,
yeah, but aren't you then kind of pricing people out of it?
You are, but you already,
like,
but in that smaller GB, you already got people in at that price, and then you can kind of, you can kind of dictate what that flip price is. So if anybody else from the GB wants to sell their board and people are going to buy them from you, they're going to have to try and flip them for more than that. So it kind of dilutes that out a little bit. Yeah, sure. You're setting the flip price, but if you're setting it high enough, I mean, I guess I'm not hedging the case where like the board has so much demand it's Jane V2 and you know people are going to raise it up to $6,000 or something like that, but you're raising it up high enough where it's just like, I don't know, there's no incentive for those people to try to flip because they can't get enough back. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. That's true. Visionary, you might be right. It's an experiment though. So that's how I would kind of attack it for the first time. Just to, I mean, so Key Cult boards flip for a lot, right? But Key Cult will make you a custom one-off board, like for thousands of dollars. So I mean, are like people flipping those custom one-off boards for thousands, like more? I don't think so. So that might be another way to do it. Like, no, I'm literally only making like 5 of these and they're just going to be like $3,000. If you want one, you can have one. If not, pound sand. Right, the Vickery Commission's build price and ceiling for key cults. Yeah. Because your GB buyers are going to... Yeah, I mean... I don't know. It definitely is worth more thought. I don't think Drifting Bunnies, you have a bad idea though with doing like half Vickery and half GB. I mean, the only other way that I can think of to control this and limit the amount of flipping that's going on is literally only to sell them to people who are in the hobby who you know aren't shitheads, but at the same time, like some of them are going to turn out to be shitheads and you're limiting the pool of people so that not just anybody can get it. Like that kind of sucks, right? Like if I'm brand new to the hobby and I want to get in on a board, oh, I can't get in on the hobby because I'm not a guy that everybody knows. You know what I mean? Like we see a lot of the names in my stream or whatever, and it's like I recognize a lot of you guys repeatedly. So it'd be like, oh, well, I could sell to these guys because I know that they're in my stream regularly. They're cool people or whatever. And if you watch, you know, a bunch of other streams, like you're going to see some of the same names over and over, and you hear what those people are talking about. But that level of vetting doesn't work when you're going to sell 50 units or 100 units. Like you don't know 100 of people well enough, those 100 people well enough to know that they're not shitheads.
And Nostalgic makes up a good point. Not everyone is active on Discord or Geek Hack.
Exactly. And that's a really important one too. Like you may lurk in my stream and lurk on Geek Hack and lurk in other places all the time, and you're totally into the hobby. And you participate in some ways or other ways. Maybe you only go to meetups or whatever. And so you participate and you have some friends where you talk directly to them, but you're not publicly posting anywhere. And that limits you from getting in on that. And that sucks. Like we can't be doing that either. So ooh, first come, first serve, but with puzzle challenges. I like that.
Oh, Visionaire wants to do a podcast.
I really like
that.
Let's do a podcast, huh? I mean, that's the kind of thing, right? So like, I am that guy that Nostalgic was talking about. I am that guy. I am the one who's not active in all the places. Like, it just so happens that I have this stream because I really like the thing that we're doing and I got into it. But in every other hobby that I'm part of, I'm that guy. I'm just lurking. I don't participate in the public part of the conversation very much because I'm not interested in getting into fights on the internet, basically, right? Like
first come, first serves, but you'll have to solve a Turing question.
Ooh. Prove you aren't a Shopify bot, please. That's rough.
That's funny.
Yeah, so another way to do this, Drifting Bunnies, I have a way that you can prevent that you can probably pretty effectively prevent the flipping, but you won't make a lot more money on it. It won't drive a lot more money to you, but it will drive money away from flippers. And that is to have your files and do one-off runs of your board when people want one. Like, let them incur the risk for anno not being perfect or whatever, or just offer it raw and then they can go get it anodized or whatever, but offer to have whatever the factory was, literally run it and drop ship it to them, and no sweat off your skin, nothing off your back, and just be like, boom.
One lap down serial number
Yes,
on
one
the
lap
boards
down.
to identify flippers. That's not a bad idea.
One
either.
lap down, yes. And so I have talked to a friend fairly recently about doing some design work, and we've sat down and kind of run through some designs, and TSC has helped with some concept stuff. And like in the future, there may be a run of a couple boards here or there to do stuff, but serial numbers are 100% going to be a part of that equation one lap down.
It
Like,
won't stop
they
them,
absolutely
but it
will.
will absolutely, like,
Oh, no.
you
I mean,
can then find out who did what and then be like, oh, okay, these people are
Yep.
flipping.
straight up. And so some people are already doing that when they know that there's someone that flipped, right?
Here's the other thing about what would prevent flipping. Having a mechanism where you can consistently keep something manufactured and in stock. That is what will prevent flipping, because then if you can't sell it on Mac Market, on Reddit, if somebody can go for like 3 times the GB price,
Yeah.
if somebody can actually go over to like Novel Keys
Yep.
and just buy it straight up, like that is what will prevent flipping.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
end.
That's true. And so if you do the one-off thing, so it's Pengu says manufacturers really don't appreciate one of anything's economy of scale is big. That's totally true, but they will do one of something and they will set a price for it, and that price will be high. And that's just a thing, right? And there are some places where you can do run one things fairly easily, maybe even in the US, which is really hard. But if you're in the US as the seller runner, that's one way. Another way is to own the machining equipment that does that in the first place, and then you literally just do a run of one of that thing, no problem, and you charge a bunch more for it. But if you're offering the board as available for someone to get unit quantity one of something, like, it'll effectively kill the flip market, because you'll just be like, no, it's 1,000. The flip price will never go above that, because it'll be like, I could just go get him to make one. Yeah, I have to wait like 2 months until it's actually available. So when people are running protos in China, they come way faster than like the full GB experience, because of the amount of QC that's going on in the whole GB. So like it'd be way faster for unit quantity one.
Pratt Penguino, the only issue with wanting to have things consistently in stock is that this community / hobby isn't big enough to support it yet. I don't know if that's true. I feel like this hobby is growing really, really quickly.
I think it's,
And
I think it has
we are
more to
either-
do. Yeah, I think it has more to do with the amount of investment capital available to create that scenario.
Right.
Not that the hobby as a buyer setup, or as a pool of buyers,
Golden
isn't
Brick
capable
TV,
of doing that.
Thank you so much for the sub.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, Golden Brick. Thanks for that 3-month streak. We appreciate
But
it.
that's just the thing. I think that
Did I miss
while
homemade tacos?
we may not be there
Thanks.
yet. I got that.
Oh, okay.
We might not be there quite yet. I think we're getting really close, because we are constantly seeing people in here that are like, I'm new to this hobby. I'm new to this, and this thing. It's like, okay, like there's a lot of people. There's a big influx of people. There were a ton of people at Virtual KeyCon. There's a ton of people in Clack Fancy. I think we're getting the traction as a hobby. We may not be there quite yet, but I feel like it's going to be pretty soon.
So Drifting Bunny says there's no way I can do in stock yet, right? So from a strictly business standpoint,
Fallen. Thank you for the follow.
Fallen. Thanks so much, man. Yeah, so drifting bunnies, right? So you say you can't do in stock right now, right? Yet. So the reason that you cannot do in stock right now is because the unit cost of the product is very high. The production cost of the product is very high, and you don't have the investment capital to invest in the machining and or the supplies required to machine that. So the stock to actually keep enough in stock compared to what the demand is, right? People would run you out instantly, and you don't have enough capital to like increase the amount of production that you have, right? So there's a couple things going on here. One is that the profit margin is not high enough on the board, meaning you aren't charging enough for the board. That's one way that you could look at the problem. Yet another way that you could look at the problem is you have not sought out capital investment from people who just do venture capital to do that. Now, the second one is kind of a pain because that means that we're pricing people out. From a purely business standpoint, oh well, as a consumer, I don't want the prices to go up that much. So the other side, where you haven't sought out investment capital to make that thing happen to where you can just keep up with that, part of it is how our hobby is set up. No one who's a venture capitalist is going to want to put a bunch of money into this thing because they can't quantify the demand right now at all, right? Because we're doing all these GBs and interest checks as like through Geek Hack. It's really rinky-dink process, right? So no one has a way of quantifying what's really out there and what people want. So it's scary for somebody to do that kind of investment. We got to fix some of those problems if we want the flipping to go away and we want supply to be stable.
Sure.
And it will normalize prices.
I don't want anybody to think like I was yelling at somebody because like,
oh no,
I wasn't. I think that the in-stock thing that's been a thing that people have been saying for a really, really long time. And they're like, why isn't it in stock? Why isn't it in stock? It's like, well, you can't keep things in stock necessarily. Like I think that's a misunderstanding of how the supply chain of things works and how manufacturing works.
Yeah.
People just think, oh, it's just there. Like it's always going to be there. Like I can go to like Target or Best Buy and get a keyboard. Well, you know, they're not doing the same things that people in this hobby are doing.
That's true.
It's understandable. So
Visionaire says, and a venture capitalist is going to want part of your business and grow the business to get their return. Absolutely right, dude. Absolutely right. Drifting Bunny says, well, the issue is also this isn't my full-time job, so I'm not gonna go out and looking for investment capital if I can't handle that many boards. Totally fair. So that's the thing, right? So we're a hobby and we're a bunch of hobbyists making products. There are a few cases where that isn't true though. And I was just using you as an example because we're talking here about it. There's a couple examples where that's not necessarily true. So KBD Fans is one of those. Novel Keys is one of those, right? They did NK65. They made a boatload of them, just a boatload of them, right? Stuff like that. So like they're trying to be not just a hobbyist, but trying to run it as like a larger business. Kono kind of has tried that, but the problem that Kono ran into is they had bad designs. Like they just didn't have good boards, right? It's like, oh my gosh, you're gonna do that with the Kira Hot Swap, or you're gonna do that with what was that other thing that they had the Hall effect switch made or whatever. I think they were trying to do that as an in-stock item at some point, right? Whatever. Yeah, so nobody's going in for that.
Noob D says, Lurker here. Anybody who has equipment to make this stuff is generally producing other stuff. My family has owned a series of machine shops for about 40 years now. It's a difficult thing to quantify, like you said. We haven't bothered looking into it because tooling cost, design time, time spent making tooling is all very high relative to the products we've been making for 20 plus years. Which makes sense.
Yeah. The stock cost of doing this thing is really high. It takes a lot of materials. It takes a lot of machine time. Some of the machine time on some of these, it's not uncommon for a board like this, for a board like we're talking about, to have like 30 to 45 minutes of machine time. That's an outrageously large amount of machine time, right? Like, not to mention actually changing setups, which is an even bigger cost in manufacturing usually. Yeah, so part of it is the pricing. There's not enough profit involved in it for it to be ripe for venture capital, but the other is how we exist as a hobby, I think. Like Pratt Penguino, yeah, it's the community is held back somewhat by its infrastructure, and because we're hobbyists, we don't, and a lot of us have full-time jobs. Like, I have a full-time job. I like my job. I'm not trying to sell keyboards all day every day, right? Or build them for that matter. So I mean, there's a 0% chance I'm going to go look for investment capital and do all that. The only thing that could happen with me, because of my other hobbies and other things I'm into in general, is that if I got really successful at that, I probably would look at buying like a VMC and, you know what I mean, set up for full out production Cerakoting as an example. Stuff like that, but that's just because I'm into those things also. So that would be like my hobby feeding into another hobby or a set of hobbies, and there aren't a lot of people that actually feel that way in our hobby.
Boxing Gnome, thank you for the follow. Love that name.
Thank you. I do too. That's an awesome name. Yeah, so it's not, yeah, there aren't a lot of people that feel that way in our hobby. Like, a lot of people want really cool keyboards, but they're not all about machining. They're not interested in like mechanical engineering, good mechanical design. Like, they just want a cool keyboard. It's really hot shit. Like, they want the fancy shoe or whatever. They're not interested in knowing about how shoes are made, right, to compare us to sneakerheads. So that's kind of where it is. I think people still don't understand that material is actually quite high in comparison to other things you might buy. Even though you might order 1,000 boards, the cost for machine time and materials doesn't go down as much as, yeah, it doesn't scale as well. It doesn't scale out. You're right. It doesn't scale out as well as a lot of other things, especially with really small parts. So you're totally right there. Like, it doesn't scale the same, which is honestly why like most OEM keyboards, even old school ones, they were made out of plastic. They're injection molded, right? Because there's a huge upfront cost, but if you're going to sell 10,000 units of this a year, or 20,000 or 40,000 units a year, or 1 million, you know what I mean, for some boards, like, that shit is printing money at that point. Although injection molding large parts like that is slower and more tedious and requires more QC than injection molding really tiny parts still.
So Nostalgic 34 asks the closest designer that might be able to pull off in stock might be AI.
The closest designer that might, I mean, him as a designer, he's not going to pull off in stock because he's designing, he's not manufacturing. Like, he's not close enough to the production side to pull off in stock, right? Like, effectively, the only way I see anyone in our industry pulling off in stock well without a large amount of investment capital would be to vertically integrate and grow organically, right? And the only person I've ever heard talk about anything like that, or even think that way, is Jax. Like, that's it. Key Cult kind of does that, but they're not trying to do bulk. Like, they want to keep it low rate, I think, and do low runs.
I think one of the things that people also don't understand is that to have something stay in stock, that means you have to keep it somewhere. Like, that means you have to pay for warehousing space to store it. And
Yep.
like, it's not like they're like every single vendor that we have has their own warehouse that they're going out to.
That's true. A lot of them pay
for
logistics
space.
companies.
Sure, absolutely. And but the longer you keep, if those things don't sell, the longer you keep them in stock, that's more capital, like that's more money you have tied up in doing that.
You're totally right. So Noob D makes a really good point about buying a 4-axis milling machine. So he says that it costs a lot of money to buy new. Yeah, so a Haas VF2 is going to be around like 60 grand new or something like that, right? So that's without any tooling. That's literally just the machine. The tooling is going to cost, I mean, if you're doing a really isolated set of work, your tooling costs will be less. But in general, if you are a machine shop, it's safe to assume that the tooling cost is going to exceed the machine cost, at least. We're doing an isolated set of things, so that might not be true in this case. Maybe not. Yeah, so tool holders, fixtures, all of that. So all of that stuff is going to cost both time and money. So he's totally right. And as a hobbyist, if you're trying to run it into a business that's profitable, it's going to take you an insanely large amount of time. So the only way I see that working,
capital too,
and a large amount of capital. So the only way I see that really happening is like people who have a lot of money, who are into the hobby, but also have some other uses or desires for a machine like that they aren't planning on running a bunch of other small parts for, like where they're actually going to be using it to make money. And there are very few people that end up with like a vertical milling machine who aren't planning on making money with it.
Thank you for the sub.
Thanks Noob. I appreciate the sub, man. I really do. Yeah, so but those people do exist sometimes, right? Like I will have at some point in my life a vertical milling center. Like it will happen. I want one. Now, is that going to be in time for me to use it in this hobby? Maybe not. Probably not, because I'm not planning on doing it anytime soon.
I think we also have to understand that this hobby, even though it is getting a huge influx of new users, and I think somebody before made a really good point about, shelter in place in the Rona and everything having a positive effect on people coming into the hobby. We also have to understand that even though there are lots of people in this, it's still a niche hobby. Like, yeah, it just is. Yeah. And
Bouncy made that point earlier. It's like vanishingly small. And that's the actual fear.
I mean, until we really, well, here's the thing. Until like we really get some big esports people consistently going and being like, no, I have a mechanical keyboard and I bought it from this I bought these parts and I did this thing and this person built it for me, whatever. Until we have a bunch of esports people doing that stuff, I don't think we're going to get the kind of traction that like other hobbies are going to get.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the way that it's laid out right now, we're definitely not going to get there. Not unless someone in the hobby just wants that thing that bad.
Glarsis says, I think that part is only a matter of time. To be honest, I think so too. I think it really is a matter of time. I mean, people showing like pictures on I think it was Instagram or on Reddit of like 50 Cent looking at somebody's split keyboard. I don't remember the one it was. I'm sorry. It looked like I think it was maybe, it wasn't a corn, but it was something like a corn. But like stuff like that will help, but it's going to have to get into the much larger realm of things before it gets that big, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we can wax poetic about it all day, but things have to change if we're ever going to get to that stage. Like we're not slowly organically getting there because we're not changing the way we operate as a hobby. And I'm not necessarily unhappy with that, but I am unhappy with the flipping part. And I don't think we get rid of that part and still get bigger without changing the way we work.
Right. And Pratt Penguino, I think you're right. I think what happens with esports people is they get snapped up by the really big manufacturers like Logitech and Razer and whatever. Yep. And so I think The only place that that's going to go is if somebody who is an esports person, like rejects that sponsorship, which I doubt they would do, and says, no, I want to do this because I want this custom thing, right? Like,
we already saw Gigi Pengu have to remove his social media post of his custom keyboard because one of Gigi's sponsors is Logitech. See, that's sad, but I understand. That's kind of messed up.
Yeah,
you're held by contract not to use custom keyboards in esports.
Right.
You can't mod either.
So the only possible way you would be able to do that is if you rejected that kind of sponsorship.
Yep, it is sad. So either way, we're not going to get there. We're not going to solve this problem today, but it was really good to hang out with you guys and discuss it. And I think it's important that we do discuss this. I don't know that we need to spend an absolute ton of time discussing it more on my stream, though I'm sure we will. But my point is, I think that it's important that we understand where we're at. It's important that we can criticize where we're at. It's important, Glarsis, that we can laugh at where we're at as a hobby, and that we can keep thinking about it, because that's the only way it's ever going to change or get better in a healthy way, is if we give it some thought. Anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out today. I really do appreciate your time. I really do appreciate all of your subs, your follows, just all of you guys. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you all so much. Remember, Clack Fancy for our virtual meetup
October 24th.
October 24th. We will be there. It will be fantastic. It was wonderful last time. We met a whole bunch of great people there.
It was amazing. Met so many cool people.
Really did. And our next stream will be on Tuesday at 8:30 Central Standard Time, 6:30 Pacific, and do the math for your own time zone.
Absolutely, guys. I'm trying to look for who is streaming right now. We got DD Decline streaming right now. That's who I see. Anybody else see anybody else that we should be giving this raid off to
Rathy,
instead?
Thank you for the bits.
DD, is he actually finishing up right now?
Katarl Alt Delete, thank you for the follow.
Is he there? Is he like finished?
Thank you for the participation, everybody. Thank you for the participation, everybody. Apparently I can't talk today.
Yeah, thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. So we're gonna raid DD then. Hopefully he can end his 48-hour stream really well. All right. We love all of you guys. We loved hanging out. We appreciate your time. You guys have a great rest of your weekend and or beginning of your week, depending on where you're at. And we will catch you on Tuesday. Later, guys.
Bye.